of my life. Sally Clarkson. Chapter 1. From Silence to Symphony. With the Psalms, we bring into awareness an ancient sorry release, a latent joy. We use the Psalms to present ourselves before God as honestly as we are able. Eugene Peterson, Psalms, Prayers of the Heart. The silence terrified me most in those early days of motherhood. I was such a young mama, not quite 22, married for only a little more than a year, when nurses and midwives placed my first baby girl onto my chest. I snuggled her close as she quivered, chilled. Hallie was slick with waxy goo, and my lips had barely kissed her bald, balmy head before the medical team covered her with a tiny cap and warm blankets. I enveloped her in my arms, and it felt like she'd always belonged there. It came naturally to me to comfort her, to try to ease her surprise at being ripped from her calm existence in my cozy womb. In those first moments with a baby, it's all cooing and shushing sounds and rocking in an attempt to woo them to their new world. There is no way to rationalize or whisper to an infant about the wonder to come, no way to express anticipation for the sights, smells, and tastes and love that awaits them. A swaddled infant will never understand that one day soon they will actually long to spread their arms wide. And so we rock and soothe and swaddle. It's funny how we hush our children to offer comfort, isn't it? There is an invitation in being still when we are trying to console our babies, when we are making room for them to feel or adjust. That kind of silence is a soft, patient embrace. But the silence that followed in my days as a new mom, the silence I feared, was the kind that rings and pulses in our ears. All alone and unseen, retreating and overwhelmed, I chose to hide as my seemingly perfect life began to crumble. A blush pink beginning. My husband and I met when we were still undergrads. Josh wore glasses and had a singular dimple. His smile lit up his eyes and my heart in turn. We lived in different countries that first year. He was at university, and I was at a discipleship training school in Hawaii, and then working as a missionary in Thailand. We exchanged long letters and emails, scattering our souls in all those words, and all the honest hopes we could share freely with the buffer of an ocean between us. One night, as I sat with my ear pressed to a payphone, palms swaying around me, Josh started talking about marriage and our future. I knew then that when I flew home, we would knit a life together. Not long after that, when I was only 20, I looped my arm through my dad's and squeezed tightly as we glided down the aisle to the tune of a fairy tale. My wedding was all Martha Stewart, back when her magazine was fresh and people had just realized they could customize wedding invitations. The bridesmaids wore blush pink, and the men wore morning jackets for a noon affair. The afternoon reception was a swirl of soft lighting and cream-colored fondant. I had no idea at the time that fondant is actually a little sticky to the touch and tastes like stale marshmallows. I just knew it was what the magazines featured on wedding cakes, and I wanted it. I approached much of our life as newlyweds the way I chose my wedding cake. I didn't anticipate anything sticky or unpleasant. I just wanted all the pretty. And in the beginning, life was smooth and sweet. We lived in a picturesque university town an hour north of Seattle and just 30 minutes from the Canadian border, situated on a beautiful bay of Puget Sound. We both studied. I decorated. I carefully chose the theme of our first Christmas tree. Martha Stewart Living magazine was, of course, consulted at length. It was full of copper and gold, with magenta ribbons and emerald accents. It matched our hunter green chair, and I remember sitting and staring at it every night.